What's up guys, LeopoldTheBrave here, and I'm almost at 12,000 subscribers pretty much. Feel free to add to that number anytime, but I think it's safe to say that with that amount, I've amassed quite a few fans, and y'all already know a few things about me. You know that I'm Christian, you know that I have albinism, and sometimes you know things about me that I don't even remember, which is a little creepy. But I still always get questions about what's my favorite this, what's my favorite that, so I figured, why not make a video about it, discussing my favorites in every single category of media. Except music. I don't really have a favorite kind of music, I just listen to whatever sounds good to me. I guess lots of classic rock and roll and video game music? But anyways, with all that said, let's get to know me and begin the video. Ooh, and this is when my new intro debuts. Tell me how you like it. I guess I'll start off with video games since that's mostly what I talk about on my channel. I usually lean towards genres that have a heavy emphasis on how you control your character, like 3D platformers or fighting games. When it comes to the 3D platformers, while I do enjoy Mario games, I tend to lean towards PlayStation's lineup. Stuff like Crash Bandicoot, Ratchet & Clank, Jak and Daxter, and of course Ape Escape. When it comes to fighting games, I much prefer 3D fighting games like Tekken over 2D fighting games like Street Fighter. I like the emphasis on footwork and movement and keeping track of where you are in the environment on a variety of stages instead of just pressuring and corner trapping on the same flat stage. Smash Bros, of course, is an exception to this. While it's technically 2D, it does place a large emphasis on footwork, where you are on the stage, and movement, just like Tekken. If you're a Smash player, I advise giving Tekken a shot, I'm sure you'd like it. Just like with music though, I don't restrict myself to specific genres, I just play whatever I find fun. Action-adventure games, open-world games, sandbox games. One of my favorite games is a first-person shooter, called Team Fortress 2. The top two qualities I look for when seeking out a game is good gameplay and replayability. My favorite games aren't just fun to play, they're fun to play over and over and over. So I hope this gave you a good idea of my general interests when it comes to video games.
What's your reason for coming to Canada, eh? What's your reason? Shut up!
When it comes to TV shows with live action stuff, it's pretty difficult for me to get into them. I just can't separate the characters from the actors' faces that I recognize. So in order for me to enjoy shows like that, they have to do really good at what I'm seeking from them, whether it be the comedy of that 70s show or the drama of stuff like The Walking Dead. Or sometimes they could end up doing both very well, like Doctor Who. But I think the thing that makes me enjoy them most is how they're able to build unique worlds compared to other shows of their kind. Oftentimes when it comes to sitcoms, you just have your standard family living in a slightly different area than all the other standard families in different sitcoms. But in that 70s show, it's a group of friends in a different time period, watching them grow up and find out who they are as people. When it comes to The Walking Dead, zombie movies are nothing new. Zombie TV shows, however, are much more rare. And no matter what people say about the show not being as good as it used to be, I still find it as enjoyable to watch as the day I started. And Doctor Who covers time travel, as opposed to the typical space or superhero stories that most sci-fi shows cover now. Yeah, time travel stuff has been a lot more scarce in the past decade or so as people have gotten a bit too nitpicky with the rules. So it's always pleasant when I get to chill with the Doctor. There are a lot of other shows I enjoy too, but hopefully this gives you a general idea of my interests when it comes to shows.
I'm not five shapes and colors the likes of which I've never seen.
Speaking of shows though, there's another form they come in, with animation. Now this I can talk about all day. I've done several countdowns, videos, and lists all about cartoons, and my favorites from each channel. But to sum it up here, my two favorite cartoons generalize my interests pretty well. Invader Zim with its unique art style and tone and dark edgy humor, or Regular Show with its very real characters and insane relatability. Some cartoons even mix both, like BoJack Horseman. But then there are those rare occasions where some don't have either, yet still turn out to be masterpieces to me. Like Avatar: The Last Airbender. It doesn't have any dark humor, it's pretty serious and more lighthearted. And there's not much relatability either, it's just Toph because of her eyesight. This is why I love animation so much. While I do have specific interests in it, there's always something that's able to surprise me, or something that's able to make me enjoy it regardless of if it has my interests or not. I enjoy getting excited for shows coming up each year, and I enjoy rewatching my favorites from previous years. Some of them include Total Drama, OKKO, Adventure Time, Kids Next Door, Jimmy Neutron, and some of my favorite shows even go as far back as the classic Looney Tunes. Or Popeye, he was definitely my favorite of the golden age. In the world of animation, it's more than just the shows themselves that I enjoy, it's the whole process behind it, so it's hard to find something that I truly dislike. Though there definitely are some. My desired qualities for movies follow the same ones as they do for shows. Once again, it's hard for me to separate the actors' faces from the characters they play, especially in MCU movies where people are obsessed with the actors, which leaves action and drama out of the equation, but I'm always a sucker for a good comedy. My favorites typically being ones that star Jack Black or Jim Carrey. Though this again means I typically favor animation, my favorites being the different franchises from DreamWorks, like Kung Fu Panda, Shrek, and How to Train Your Dragon, though they do have some really good one-offs like Megamind and the Bee-Movie. Yes, I unironically love the Bee-Movie. My favorites from Disney include Lilo and Stitch, Princess and the Frog, Wreck-It Ralph, and other things like that. And Pixar has Coco, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, and The Incredibles on the list of things I watch way too much. However, despite the emphasis I put on the big three, I do appreciate seeing what other studios have to put out, like Blue Sky, and yes, even Illumination. Even the movies people find mediocre like Rio, or the ones they find downright bad like Sing, I still get lots of enjoyment out of from watching because again, I'm just so fascinated with the whole process of animation. And you know, I'm kinda glad to have that mindset. It allows me to enjoy more things.
What are you doing?
Well, y'all know I like the Bible because I'm a Christian, but I'm sure you still never expected me to talk about books. Because, you know, it's kind of a stereotype that gamers don't exactly like to read. But, believe it or not, I do. They're just not exactly the type of books you're thinking of. You see, I don't read too often because of my eyesight. Those big, long bricks of words and clusters just hurt my eyes after a while. Even comic books and manga strain them because of the small text and the speech bubbles. So I'm not ashamed to admit that I read much more simple things that are way below my own level. The first of which is the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. I still keep up with the books to this very day, but the nostalgia comes from seeing the movies when I was in middle school. Admit it, you still watch them or at the very least think about them a lot too. Otherwise that Not My Roderick thing when The Long Haul was coming out wouldn't have been a thing. And the other series is Geronimo Stilton. This is a series that just means a ton to me. My grandma would always buy me the books and read them to me when I was younger, and while I admittedly haven't been keeping up with them if they're still going, I still do enjoy the ones that I have. They were really neat but short novels about a news reporter mouse who would go on all these adventures or exploration journeys, all to get scoops for his paper. I'm honestly shocked there hasn't been an animated movie based on this yet. All it really had was a cartoon, the best thing about it being the theme song. With everything I've said so far, you may have noticed a theme. The wackiness of Crash, the comedy of That 70s Show, the absurd darkness of Invader Zim, the humor of Jack Black and Jim Carrey, the dorkiness and childlike charm of the Wimpy Kid books. It's pretty clear that anything that's able to make me laugh is enough to get on my good side. And that follows through into anime with one of my personal favorites, Sergeant Frog. However, this also combines with my fascination for animation to help me enjoy others like Dragon Ball and Hajime no Ippo especially. A lot of the time, shonen anime takes itself way too seriously, so I like these ones that have a lot more fun with it. No chocolate-covered friendship speeches, the fate of the world isn't the most important thing, despite being at stake, just goofy dorks wanting to punch each other. So yeah, that's what I'm into, and that pretty much covers everything I'm into. And now you've gotten to know me a bit more, even stuff I've never talked about before. But hopefully this was all entertaining enough. I thought it would be a neat concept for a video, but let me know your favorites of each category down in the comment section below, and don't forget to tell me if you enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Leopold the Brave, out.